6 months ago now, we reviewed Mandalorian season 2. So let's not try to do it again.
Let's not retread those waters. And on that note, welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joe Tweeton, and over to my side here, this side, my dearest friend who is pantomiming my intro.
I would never.
Much like the redheaded ginger, R.I.P. I mean, we miss you, Mr. Matthew, but he's not here today. Joining the cast tonight, we have the Nick Thomas. How's it going, sir?
Fantastic. I'm just filling in because with the pantomime, because our ginger is not here because he is actually stuck in bed because he does not have the energy because he has not stolen enough souls recently.
You're right. He needs to get back on track with that soul stealing shenanigans that he always does.
As long as he stays away from me during it.
Oh, no worries,
Hey,
sir.
I know you're Italian, just like us.
And in the other corner here, in this corner here, we have the Ryan Coon. Welcome, sir.
Hello there. I've been binging Helsing Abridged all day. So
nice,
interesting,
how's
very
everyone
nice.
else doing?
Well, guys, we're getting ready to talk shop today, rather. Well, guys, we're gonna try this out. We're gonna see how well it sticks. I came fairly prepared this week regarding our topics and our show format. So
it's been a while.
What?
Nothing.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I know it's been a while. Last week, I am still fighting through the edit of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It'll come out as like an extra little side episode alongside this one. But guys, what we're gonna do, and I'll only announce it in this episode. Hopefully, well, no, I'll make it brief in each one so that if you guys didn't catch this one, you'll get where I'm going here. Here, let me give you the quick spiel, and I promise I'll make it quick. We're shooting to get back to our regular incorporation of not just reviewing general pop culture stuff every week, but also a little bit more on the news side, like what's new, what's happening, what's the latest drama, in pop culture, what's coming soon, stuff like that. And along with that, we decided that there's probably enough content there that as long as we keep a good steady flow of keeping up with it ourselves, that I'd like to break down throughout the week so that you guys have more than just a once a week shot at what we throw out there. And if you're new to our channel and you came to our channel purely because of just our movie talk, or maybe you're a gamer because our YouTube channel is saturated with gaming and you want to hear more of our opinions on gaming outside of the actual gameplay, we decided we're going to split up our show amongst the three classic topics we always do. We've got our movie matters, TV talk, and gaming bits, and it started out that way almost 4 years ago. So our goal now is we're going to go back to that trend and see how things go. So as of right now, guys, this episode you're catching is going to be Movie Matters, and we're going to try to spread it out through the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's kind of the current goal. We're going to see how well that sticks. And guys, leave a comment down below if you're enjoying that new format. Episode lengths are going to kind of stay the same, close to an hour. So that's where we're shooting for. And we are going to have an occasional rotating cast of hosts in here. Mostly me and Nick for sure. Ryan as often as he can. Matt as often as he can. And occasionally some other faces. So guys, that's kind of the spiel. I wanted to throw that out there. at the beginning of your Monday Movie Matters. Oh, look at that trifecta. You see what I did there, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the beginning of Movie Matters, can I give a little bit of movie news?
Well, let me throw up the stinger, dude, because it just doesn't feel right unless we have that classy stinger. Guys, it's time for Movie Matters. Oh, it should also be noted, friends, that this is podcast episode 108.
What?
Guys, welcome to Movie Matters, podcast episode 108. And Nick, I believe you had a little bit of something newsy-wise that you wanted to talk about, so I'm going to pass it off to you first, sir.
All right.
What we got?
Okay. Between all of us, I can almost guarantee I know what our favorite holiday is. It's in October.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
All right.
did I come prepared or what, guys?
You did. And this news has to do around Halloween. One of our favorite movies of our childhood that has not had a sequel since 30 years ago.
Oh.
Disney Plus announced in the works Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, you went in a different direction, sir.
Yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
Bette Midler confirmed it this week with a tweet.
That was already announced like a year ago, but
Hocus Pocus 2, huh?
maybe I'm losing it.
They haven't. Then it fell through, and they weren't working on it.
Oh, okay. I was
They
like,
got
I thought
shelved.
that already happened and came out, and I thought I was just behind the ball.
Nope.
Oh, you
It's-
think
It arrives fall of 2022, only on Disney Plus.
my girls and wife will be ecstatic because we not only religiously watch the original Hocus Pocus, but it's also kind of played all year round in our house. It's not just a seasonal thing for my family. So a sequel to that, I'm only hopeful that there's some classic actors from the first one.
All three sisters will be playing the original role.
Nice.
How are they going to do the Thackeray Binks thing? I wonder if he's back.
I don't know, but I do know the three sisters are coming back. Well, Thackeray's been released from the curse.
Yeah.
So this will be something completely different.
It'll be a different setting for sure, probably. I wonder if they're gonna if there's gonna be any reference to the kids all grown up, or if it's gonna be a whole new set.
Yeah,
if you guys has the kids grown up.
Yeah. If you guys remember, the original was back in 1993.
Yeah, when I was born.
Oh snap! Way to age yourself, sir.
Yeah, it's
28 years ago.
Now, 93 is when most of my favorite things in childhood kicked off. It was the beginning of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It was the beginning of Sonic the Hedgehog in animated form. As far as TV show business, that's where I was at in 93.
I'm not going to go there in 93.
Hey, you know what? You've got a 90s soul still, and that's good enough, sir. That's all that
90s
counts.
was my favorite time. After that, that's where my soul died.
Oh.
The 90s.
Oh.
Take me back.
Nicholas,
I would give my soul for Funyun, wasabi Funyuns. I mean, what?
So, quick question. I know that was a very spur of the moment thing because you hadn't mentioned that you wanted to bring up any news. You don't have anything else, do you? Because I didn't plan any additional news yet going into this. We do have a couple movies to review. So, anything else news-wise?
Not off the top of my head.
It's all good, dude. I can think of some things that we'll need to talk about soon. I almost thought you were talking about a certain sequel relating to ghost hunting and what are those packs called on their backs?
You talking about Ghostbusters? We know that's coming.
I did not want to name drop it. I was trying to allude. Way to bury the lead.
Let's just go straight to it. Straight to the point.
Yes, I mean, trailers have come out. It's happening. It's not news. It's just I thought you were alluding to something about that. My bad. Still excited about Hocus Pocus 2. Not gonna lie.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
That being said, guys.
Well, actually, this is new. This is news. I don't have a release date or anything, but
All right.
a show put together by Arnold Schwarzenegger had just got pulled by Netflix to be pulled by them to be able to be on the Netflix.
Pulled
Yeah.
usually implies they've taken it off.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, no. They're putting it on there. This will be the first TV series with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think. I can't think of any TV series that actually has had him, but it'll be a TV series. They haven't even named it yet.
Except
but the whole idea and everything.
Character.
What?
He's been a guest character, and that's it. He's never actually had a series.
Yeah.
Nothing leading. Yeah.
But this one, it's a TV spy adventure where he is a veteran father, with a daughter, and he's involved in a whole bunch of secret missions and teams up with different people, and he's got to work through that. And I wonder if it's going to be like comedy-ish or whatnot. But
right,
like I said, I think it's the first time I've ever seen or heard of Schwarzenegger in a TV series.
I think you're not wrong.
And when I get more information on it, I'll be sure to share it with the rest of our audience.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you're wrong, but I'm very curious what that one's going to be about. All right, that's going to cut it for news. Nicholas, now I think best to kick off some of our movie reviews for the week. First up, and I'd like to see what you guys think. I have two shorter reviews. I can keep them really short, but I wanted to mention them because they're kind of fairly new, even if you guys haven't seen them. And then, have either of you guys watched most of or all of Tenet? I know Ryan has not finished it, but he watched most of it.
I'm about halfway.
And you watched all of it, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not going to get super spoilery, but unless we want to. But I think it's just worth a general back and forth review.
Yeah, we can do a non-spoiler review like we usually do with everything.
Yeah, it's not one of those landmark. Oh, we got to dive in deep about this. It's not a huge thing.
It's a really cool concept.
Super cool, and like the history behind how long he was thinking about it, writing it, and then finally working on it. I mean, it's a story that he's over 20. I'll save that for when we talk about it. All right, guys. First up, I'm going to just give a couple short reviews here. For Under Movie Matters, I recently, a couple nights ago, watched I was going to watch more of the top 10 on Netflix this week, and we didn't get a chance to hit it yet. Number 2 right now is the Woman in the Window, I think, with Amy McAdams. Really intriguing. Did not get a chance to sit through all of it, so I will come back next week, next Movie Matters episode, and cover that. But
is that a horror movie?
It's psychological thriller. It's not. I don't think.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix, and it's number 2 in the top 10 right now for movies and shows. So definitely, guys, check that out. We will definitely watch it by next week, and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to talk about briefly something that looked intriguing. Trailers always do, of course. And me and my wife share a mutual interest of horror and psychological thrillers. Outside of the nerdy stuff, sometimes that's more of her thing, but we try to find ones that are really good or ones that she's, never heard of. This week, we checked out also on Netflix. It's called Things Seen and Heard. It's actually based on the novel All Things Cease to Appear by Elizabeth Brundage, and it was adapted by the co-director couple Sherry Berman and Robert Pulcini. Both of them are known for American Splendor from 2003 and The Nanny Diaries in 2007. If anyone's familiar with that work, I'm not. And so these directors are pretty new to me, but they are a husband-wife couple that directed this film, Things Seen and Heard, it's called. It stars Amanda Seyfried from, you might know her from Mean Girls and Mamma Mia.
Love her.
I'm really liking Amanda Seyfried over the last few years because she's gone from just kind of a teenage actor or a young actress, and she's been taking a lot more serious roles over the last couple of years. And this one is definitely no exception to that. Co-starring alongside her, we have James Norton from Little Women, the remake of Little Women. Natalie Dyer, we're all familiar with her from Stranger Things. Yeah, she's still young. She's working her way into getting more roles lately. But the general synopsis for this movie, guys, is it's about a Manhattan artist. They live in New York. She relocates her young family to a historic hamlet in the Hudson Valley. And as she settles into a new life, she begins to suspect that her marriage has a sinister darkness, one that rivals her new home's history. Based on the acclaimed novel, yada yada, which I already covered. Now, this film is not super long. It's about an hour and a half. Hello, kitty. I have kitties in my background.
Kitty.
This film is not super long. Hour 30, hour 40 if you include credits. It had a really good, I want to say, foundation. The first half of the film it was constantly intriguing. There was never a moment where throughout this film that I was wondering. I mean, let me rephrase that. For most of the film, 2/3 of the entire film, me and my wife found ourselves just, constantly curious, like where is all of this going? And there's like the downside to this thing is there's 3 different, I want to say, concepts this film laid out for us, which is very unfortunate because with psycho thrillers or horror, if you pick more than a couple directions to go in and don't stick to them, it becomes a very convoluted plot. And unfortunately, that's kind of what happened. There was a supernatural element, a house that this couple moved into that seemingly is haunted. And then there's this devious darkness within their marriage. Like, why is this husband seem so shady? And is it him being affected by moving into the haunted home, affecting him and making him make unsavory choices within their marriage? What's really happening here? And it keeps you guessing till about the last third. And I feel like the ending really, unfortunately, without spoiling anything, just fell on its face. It's not often that I watch something that I don't sort of enjoy. And I will say I did enjoy the journey of this film. I'd say the saving grace of this film was Amanda Seyfried. Her performance was incredible. Her tears, emotion, what she was going through with her daughter and husband and moving away from her family and everything just to be somewhere else where, it was kind of like all for her husband. Her husband found a gig, a professor deal, in this upstate New York upstate, whatever. And she was kind of sacrificing everything for her family. And you believe every part of her journey in this film. And then the movie just takes a really sad turn. And I'll say this, I'll end on this note. I give it, I hesitate to go so low because I usually don't do this, but I'll say a 6.5. I'd say because of Amanda Seyfried, I give it a 7. And I would say it's not rewatchable, but it's definitely worth at least a single watch. And it is on Netflix. So if you're bored of all your choices, I recommend checking it out to at least see Amanda Seyfried's performance in this. And it does keep you guessing till the end. It's an unsatisfactory ending and a mildly convoluted plot, but I still enjoyed the journey until the end. So that's my rating for things seen and heard, guys.
I don't watch anything with Amanda Seyfried in it.
All right, then, dude. My rating, because I'm just saying, because of her, I give the
I'll
movie a
probably
7.
give it the same rating.
I give the movie a 7 because of her. The film as a whole is closer to a 6, honestly.
Some things are better in theory than in practice.
It had the potential. Had they picked a different ending or stuck in a singular direction, I think this film could have been a wonderful experience. So I leave our audience with that. Let's see. I'm going to make the second review really short because I know we want to get to the meat and potatoes of what we've all seen. So let me make this one pretty short and simple. This is a very family-friendly title. We're talking The Mitchells versus the Machines. Now, this one's directed by Michael Rianda and co-directed by Jeff Rowe, also written by the directors themselves. It stars Abby Jacobson, Danny McBride, Maya Rudolph, and Michael Rianda. They're kind of not as well known overall. Danny McBride has been in a lot of things, but then you got a pretty wide cast of other people lending their voices to very small roles like Eric Andre, Fred Armisen from Portlandia, love him from SNL, Beck Bennett also from SNL, John Legend, the singer, Conan O'Brien, the late night talk show host. All of these guys and a handful of others lended their voice acting talents to this comedy, family comedy. The premise is it's about a quirky, dysfunctional family road trip to a dysfunctional family's road trip is appended when they find themselves in the middle of a robot apocalypse and suddenly become humanity's unlikeliest last hope.
Robot apocalypse.
Yeah, Nick, was this one you mentioned to me before, or have you not seen this one? Did you watch this one?
I've seen the previews for it. I'm waiting for a night to actually watch it with the kids.
Right on. To you with kids out there, I would say it's not a film I would go out of my way to watch on my own had I not had kids. But it is a film because it got really good general reviews for families. Me and my wife took a chance and watched it without pre-screening it. It's only PG, so it's not about the violence, but there's always concerns about, okay, what kind of moral stories are there going to be? What kind of standards are there going to be with this family? Is it going to be as clean as Disney? Because shoot, I don't have it on me of who produced this, but it's on Netflix. It's not Disney or any of those. It's not made by any of them. Do you remember who? Is it DreamWorks? Maybe, I think. I don't know why I didn't look that up. I forgot to look that part up. But I'll move forward with this.
I grew up with From Dusk Till Dawn and Resident Evil, so I think the kids can handle some more.
We unfortunately live in an ultra, and I'm not criticizing any of our listeners, ultra sensitive world. No,
violence is wonderful.
Well,
embrace it. It's human nature.
Anyway, it's not just that. It's also when I say I'm not even talking about the violence. I'm talking about like sometimes family shows have moral concepts that they're really pushing hard. Things like
signaling even
inclusivity or
this is a Sony Pictures animation movie.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Sony Pictures animation movie. What I want to say is there was a lot of inclusivity, which we are all 100% about. Yeah. We love everyone. We love our audience. That's not my point. It's when certain agendas, whether it's activism or religious,
it's pushed rather than having actual good writing to it.
In your face in the story, like that's the focus. Yeah. Then it makes kind of for a really unpleasant viewing experience, regardless of how you feel about the topics. Focus is about a daughter who wants to pursue her passion of filmmaking, a dad who doesn't understand that. And so there's this father-daughter conflict throughout the whole apocalypse. They did an amazing balance of comedy. Everything was, it's almost borderline. Could have been something Disney would have put out. It's got a very unique animation style. And it had a really heartwarming ending of the family is still going to be dysfunctional, but they all kind of got to a place where they appreciated each other more towards the end. It was one of kind of those heartwarming feelings, and I would recommend this to absolutely anyone I know, anyone I know with family or kids or anything like that. It is a really nice, heartwarming story. It's not super long either. There's some super comical moments with certain pair of malfunctioning robots. I'll leave it at that. Definitely hilarious, and it's on Netflix. So, if you're bored and you've run out of ideas, here's another one. This one I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's pleasant for the family. It's not groundbreaking. It's a very modern tale of a dysfunctional family, in my opinion. And I leave you all with that.
What was it called again?
It's called The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Okay.
MVM.
If I ever have kids, maybe I'll watch it.
Or if you're on an animation kick and you want to try something you haven't seen.
I am a Disney fanatic, so it'll probably.
When I say family friendly, Ryan, I don't mean that it's just for kids. Okay, I just mean
maybe there's some little things peppered into.
I'm saying there's enough comedy and slapstick adventure that even the parents watching it, myself included, chuckled multiple times throughout the experience. Okay. So it's
then
not.
I will definitely watch this.
That's what I'm saying. It's not for kids, but it's
friendly.
That they can watch it and still enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. I can appreciate that.
That's where we'll land this whole review. Guys, we're going to kick off the last, final, and headlining review tonight for Movie Matters.
Ooh. Oh
yes.
My. What is it?
All right, guys. Coming along after nearly 20 years of conceptual thinking and planning and writing, our dearly beloved director Christopher Nolan, known for films such as The Prestige, Interstellar, Inception, a lot of wonderful, mind-bending, psychological tales, has finally conceptualized after a year of delays due to our COVID-19 pandemic. Rest in peace. May ye never come back again. Disease. I'm talking about the pandemic. But upon all these delays,
direct that one hipster superhero movie that was set in gritty realism.
Yes,
probably no one really heard of this superhero. He's okay. He's definitely not Darkman though.
No. But if he wanted to see Batman in a real world setting, it's safe to say
he did fucking fantastic.
He piloted that entire trilogy. Yes. Yeah. No, they appreciate that. I didn't put it in the notes, but I was fully aware Christopher Nolan did the trilogy, and everyone else and their mom knew that.
He only agreed to do it to pay for the movies he actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right, because if you look at the other ones that I did list off, he likes a lot of twisting depth with his stories that make you really think, what is actually happening here.
Some good mind versions of this. Mind.
Yes. No, don't worry. I won't bleep out the gesture, but I'll bleep out the word.
Yes, I got it finally.
No, yes, he likes going for those mind twists, and this was directed and written by him. The film just finally released in limited theater showings and on HBO Max. The title Tenet. Now, almost 2 years ago, we saw teasers for this. Prior to him finishing the film, we saw a teaser trailer for this. This film is starring John David Washington, our dear Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, and there's quite a few other casts in here, but of note, a Michael Caine. Guys, the premise for this film is this. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, a protagonist, capital letter, pronoun, protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time. Dun dun dun. Pretty vague, but also pretty mind twisting upon thought. So, this had a lot, and I can understand why this is like kind of a 20 years in the making concept. I think it took our dear Christopher Nolan, probably that much time to sit on the concept he was wanting to put out there, and then waiting for, movie magic to catch up with being able to show this concept.
Remember how I said he did Dark Knight so that he could fund a movie?
Yep.
It was this. Yep. This is his most ambitious and expensive movie to date, even out of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Now, side note, just to like kind of put that into perspective, there is a scene. It's really early on, so it's not spoilery. There's a scene where a 747 full-sized airplane crashes into the hangar bay area of an airport, and like explosions everywhere, right? I read in a side note that Christopher Nolan said that special effects and miniatures were not cost effective enough, so he said it would be cheaper to outright buy a 747 for the shot and actually crash it into a building. No joke. Baller. He said it would be more cost effective to just straight up buy a plane so we can crash it into a building. Cool.
I'm so curious, the conversation of pitching that idea.
Yeah,
how that went down.
I need right.
All right.
Like, okay. Yes.
Okay.
So you're saying you want a 747? Yes.
What do
you want to buy one to crash it into a building? Yeah, it says it right there on the paper. Is there a disconnection here? It's cheaper than making miniatures
and special effects somehow. I don't. Yep. Man, I don't know.
Speaking of special effects, there's actually something astounding about that. This movie actually garnered an Academy Award.
Not surprising. It's Christopher Nolan.
It won an Oscar for Best Achievement in Visual Effects.
Because there's no effect to it. It's a real fucking plane.
Well, not just but not just that, dude. But like, okay, like we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about our general thoughts about the plot and stuff. But I wanted to wrap up. I wanted to wrap up Nick's statement by adding to it and saying that this movie deals with a very unique concept of time travel in a very different way than what we've traditionally seen across most science fiction today or days past. It deals with, it still is a mind twist no matter how much I think about it, but there's scenes, there's a lot of scenes where things in the environment are shown happening in reverse, as if watching a movie being rewound in slow motion, right? Like seeing the ripples of water reversing from splashing into it, or the most common thing in this movie is watching a bullet coming out of its end trajectory spot, reversing, that bullet hole disappearing, and the bullet coming back into the gun. So that concept of objects reversing in time, they said that throughout this film that shots were filmed in reverse. Like literally he took 70, 80 something crazy millimeter film, and a bunch of the shots he's done throughout the movie were actually recorded in reverse. And he did a bunch of back and forth, recording things forward and recording things literally in reverse while they were happening in real time. And then when you play it forward, it's the same concept of like slow motion shots or perspective ratio shots where you're zooming out while pulling away or zooming in while pulling away, and it gives you that weird forced perspective. He did a lot of that to simulate this time travel. So there's a lot of things he did that literally used practical effects versus CG and special effects.
I'll argue is always better in my opinion.
Well, and if you do it right, it makes it so much more believable.
Yeah, like look at The Thing, and then look at The Thing that they made in like the 2000s, where they wanted to do it, and then they just put the CG over it anyway. It was just god awful.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is we've talked about some of the crazy concepts, some of the achievements that this film has pulled off, and the time Christopher Nolan took to get to this point of actually making it. Let's talk a little bit about our overall feelings of, we want to kind of simplify it today. I know I realize we could like nerd out on concepts and try to break down like what did it mean when this happened and that reversed and this went forward and what did that mean, and we could get real nasty weird about it and nerdy, but let's talk about the overall acting. Nick, I've been doing a lot of talking. I kind of want to toss it over to you and let you carry this next part. Give us your general thoughts about the whole film progression and maybe even give us a rating, and we'll just kind of pass it around and give our ratings and stuff.
Yeah. I thought most of the acting was great. Most. One of the actual lead characters, I felt, his style acting isn't acting to me. In another thing, I've actually heard Ryan say the actor is like cardboard.
Hey, Nick, real quick, tilt the camera or sit up a little bit so you're more centered there. You're good. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Have I said that?
You did when we were talking about Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
I knew who you were talking about.
Sometimes, don't get me wrong, like sometimes he's not too bad, but then sometimes it's like watching paint dry.
And this one, to me, it was the same way. It felt like he wasn't showing any emotion. Even when he was in intense scenes, it felt like he had the same, like, that face he always makes when he's thinking or intensely doing something. It's just like, and then no matter what he's trying to act, it's stuck there. And it's just like, okay. I like the concept. I like the idea. Some of the concepts with the idea were half-baked, and the way they portrayed them and why it happened didn't make sense and didn't work correctly to me. So honestly, for me, you want a review score? I would give this a 7.
Did you want to elaborate any further on the film as a whole, or you just wanted to jump to that rating? You gave us the rating, that's fine. Do you have any more concepts that you want to go into that aren't super spoilery? Just, I don't know.
There was a lot of
things were done.
There was a lot of slow time between the different things. The action scenes that were there were good. And it seemed like his rewinding of time was cool. I loved it. But there was times within the movie it felt forced just to add it in the scene, whether it needed to be or not. And that's the director's choice there, but it didn't fit for viewing continuity.
Sorry, I shouldn't have made a sound that's like sounds like a condescending disagreement. This is your view. Your view.
You're
dude.
so
Sorry.
entitled to your wrong opinion, but
not even what I'm trying to say, but yeah.
I will pass the mic to the next person, whoever would like to go. And like I said, I still stick to a 7 out of 10.
Oh, fair enough, dude. Hey Ryan, I'll save mine for last. I know.
I know exactly what I'm going to say. I know exactly. I already have this planned out.
Go for it. Yeah, sorry. Go for it.
Hello there.
Hello.
So,
General Kenobi.
Thank you. So I have no clue what this movie's about because I've only seen the action scenes, and they're so cool, but I have dog shit understanding of what the fuck this movie's about. Because, like I said, I've only seen the action scenes, and they're amazing. They are beautiful, and I love this. That reverse takes me back to the '90s, late '90s anyway. With Matrix, it's cool, cool. But I have no idea what it's about. But as far as the action scenes go, I'm giving it a 9.
Whew. No,
I can tell you.
No, dude. Hey, if we're gonna rate like chunks of the whole film, the action being a huge chunk of it,
that's all I could tell you.
That sounds like a solid rating to me. Yeah,
like the bits and like when I say I watched half the movie, I don't mean I like watched the first half. I was like, we had a Discord movie night on my stream team area, and I was popping in and out of the movie. I just happened to only see, like, I saw about half the runtime of just action scenes and shit.
Well, I'm not gonna shame you in my. Are you good? You good?
Cool.
I'm gonna wrap up.
Go all out, man.
I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts. Now, to be fair though, dude, I completely understand what you just said. I'm not blaming you. We didn't like sit down and be like, dude, I need you to watch this whole thing prior to like recording this. But yeah, if you pop it in and out, you absolutely will have no idea what the f- is happening. I promise you that. And even if you do sit through it and pause and discuss with your wife next to you several dozen times throughout the 2.5 hour watch time, you still might not completely understand what's going on, even if you focused. But I'm not some super geeky, nerdy. I've got a deep grasp. No, what I'm saying is that I don't have a deep grasp on his concept. I do want to throw out here just to mildly defend Christopher Nolan. He did come out and say publicly, when questioning when being asked about all the continuity or not, but like the explanation of how some of this different time stuff works or doesn't work, and he openly came out and said, we are not going to try to explain it, just enjoy the story.
I can respect that.
He straight up answered a Q&A and said, we have no intention of explaining why or why not this time stuff works or doesn't work. But he did have, and I wish I had the article on me. I feel bad. I feel like my nerd card needs to get revoked because I did read he had a physicist, astrophysicist or something that he talked with, or what's that word when you
discuss?
Not discuss, but when you go to someone to ask questions about validity, what is consulting?
Oh yeah,
he did have like a astrophysicist that he consulted throughout the writing of his screenplay over the last 5 years of getting wrapped up for some of the details. But he said again, it's just a concept, and he had no intention of explaining why or why not certain things are going to work. He just, again, like Nick said, did certain things just to keep the story moving forward to get to the point he wanted to get to. But regardless of that, like, I know the nerds in us want like an effectively accurate time travel movie. Like, we want, at the end of the day, when we watch some incredible time travel thing, we want to be able to like argue, debate, and discuss
like
why this should have worked or shouldn't have worked, right?
Yeah, like how wrong Avengers got it.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. But I got
a lady. She'll come talk to us about it if you want.
No, I'm sure, absolutely. That'd be a great future conversation.
She hates that part of the movie so much it drives her nuts.
It still is super. It is very convoluted. I don't care.
It's a comic movie.
It's
just like
it's
a movie.
I think they did as best as anyone could by laying out the idea, like by just giving the general concept that you can't change anything, and and they tried their best to stick with that. Yeah, and then there's the branching multiverse shit. I know. There's nothing you can do with time travel stories can ever be completely clean. You can try hard, and I think some people do get close to making it believable. But again, that's for the nerds to get upset about, and for me as just wanting to enjoy a story, I don't need to dive into that part. But the concepts were kind of confusing, and the back and forths, and like the ultimately realizing who's behind what when you try to factor in the time travel stuff. We're back talking to Tenet. We're talking about Tenet right now. After that Avengers tangent, sorry guys, but like coming back full force, the action soared high and was awesome. It was fun, and in grand tradition of my normal reviewing, I generally try to just go in not thinking too hard about what makes sense or not. I still look at it at the end of the day, at the end of the viewing, and say, did that make sense or not? And did I enjoy it because it made sense, or did I just enjoy it because it was a roller coaster of a ride? I think that Tenet definitely plays on the roller coaster of a ride concept for sure, and I love John David Washington. I haven't seen him in a whole lot of stuff, but he was the lead guy. He was the quote protagonist who teamed up with Robert Pattinson. And I will agree. I do agree with Nick's assessment of Robert Pattinson in this film. I cannot vouch for him in the last couple indie films he's done, where I've heard some of my favorite nerdcasters praise some of his apparently capable, deeper abilities to act. So I'm not going to get in a back and forth of defending something I've never seen, but I will agree for the sake of this film and Tenet, there was nothing super special about Robert Pattinson's performance. However, I will highlight the fact that he was in it very little throughout the 2.5 hour majority. And I would love to praise John David Washington, the lead, for some pretty incredible general acting. Like overall throughout the film, I believed his desire to want to help, certain characters and be in it for the run, determined to, he's on a mission, he needs to accomplish this, and I believed it. Robert Pattinson was a nice little stupid, what do you call that, flicking my good conscience, bad conscience off my shoulder type character, where he's only there to kind of pull you through plots here and there. Exposition, yeah. And like the implications, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but the way the character that Robert Pattinson played at the end of the whole film did kind of nicely, in my opinion, although still confusing as hell, it nicely opened up a window for just the idea of there could be future adventures with our John David Washington and the concept of Tenet. I do truly think for Christopher Nolan, this is a one and done. I don't see him trying to sequelize on it, although I feel they're definitely going to be like producers, or depending on how well it does, asking him to, conceive a sequel. Come on, let's cash grab type thing. But it was a nice one and done. It was enjoyable. It was a roller coaster. Effects were incredible. The practical effects were amazing. The lengths that Christopher Nolan went to pull off some of the visuals are always a blast to sit through and watch. And that, like Ryan's rating purely on action sequences were highly praised. And Nick, what was yours? What overall rating was a 7 or
7?
Okay. So I'm gonna pick a middle ground here, because I was on the more easy to please road for this, knowing that at the time, not necessarily knowing, but when I got to the end of it, I was like, dude, like I told my wife, I'm like, I didn't completely understand half of some of the timey-wimey wibbly wobbly things happening. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But I enjoyed the ride. And my wife usually does not watch this kind of stuff, but she said, I want to watch more things you're interested in. I want to give them a shot anyway. And she said at the end of this that she was pleasantly surprised at just the fact that it kept her attention. She's like, I still don't know what the hell happened, but it kept me entertained all the way to the end. And I think that's Christopher Nolan's ultimate goal in his 2-hour plus psycho thriller, human nature, the nature of mankind concepts that he throws into his films. I think that's ultimately what he's going for as a creator. So I can't give it insane praise as a film from a critical standpoint. There were a lot of holes, and a couple of the actors were subpar for the overall journey. Lead was great, effects were great, so I give this, for me, a solid 8. Solid 8 out of 10 for me. I stick by that. So, guys, Tenet was fun. What can we tease our listeners that we're going to maybe talk about or look at in the coming week? What's something we're going to that we should tease? I think we should tease some shit. You know what I'm saying?
I think next Movie Talks episode, I would definitely like to review Netflix original.
Another one.
And the newest HBO release, Those Who Would See Me Dead.
The Angelina Jolie. Yeah. Her comeback to the silver screen.
I forgot she existed, to be honest.
Leading to her eventual role in the new Marvel movie, The Eternals. That's definitely happening still. We're getting deeper into the interstellar galactic side of Marvel, and Angelina Jolie's coming back for that. And dude, I know that's on HBO Max right now, and I had intended on watching it. There's just so many new things to check out. So Nick, you think that's a good one for next week?
I do.
That one, and what did you say? Another one before that?
I said
the one you've seen,
Army of the Dead. Yeah,
Army of the Dead, and that's on Netflix. I will absolutely be watching that, so we'll talk about that next week for sure. Ryan, you're welcome to check both of those out, or is there anything else that you're thinking about looking at that you might want to?
Me personally?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, if there's anything random that you might be checking out or want to.
As far as movies, not so much. I don't watch a lot of movies unless you guys recommend them to me. You guys are my source for movie entertainment.
Yeah. Hey, check out the 2 Nick just said, and that'll be our basis for next week anyways.
They both were really good.
I'm really excited about that zombie one, because it's been a while since the zombie movies entertained me.
And I'm excited to see Dave Bautista back in the action slot, outside of Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is coming from a 20-plus year zombie fan. It's hard for movies to get like a zombie movie right. And I have faith in Dave Bautista. Surprisingly, he's a wrestler turned actor who's still, I think, wrestling. I don't know.
There's very been some success stories there.
Yeah, there's some. But then there's also a list of failures.
Hey, no, seriously, dude, as far as Hollywood goes and video game adaptations and wrestlers turned acting were things that were just scoffed at or laughed about, 10 years ago. And I think a lot of those types are getting less silly.
I think our generation's starting to take over the movie scene. We understand those things.
And David Bautista, on a side note, he's turning, I think, 55, mid-50s.
Does not look that old.
No, but he said it's getting. I read an article recently. He said it's getting harder to do the shirtless stuff with Drax the Destroyer for Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's quoted as saying that James Gunn, doing Volume 3 Guardians of the Galaxy, he goes everywhere with James Gunn because James Gunn trusted in him, and they're good friends. And he said that when James Gunn leaves, I'm leaving. So he said that that'll probably be his last Marvel film.
Damn.
I know, writing Drax out of the scene, but he's not done with action films. He just doesn't want to do that shirtless character anymore because he's like, it's harder to he's mid 50s getting into, and it's harder to maintain
that insane physique.
Yeah, he said, and they said, he's in better shape than most 20-something-year-olds, but at some point you can't keep maintaining. At some point he can't. He doesn't want to keep maintaining, and if you could throw a nice heavy jacket on and still do an action movie, why not?
Yeah.
Plenty of other guys have done it.
Actors have been doing that in the 80s forever.
Some of our favorites are still, trying to hang on. Hey,
Steven Seagal, just give it up already, man.
Or Stallone, or.
Anyway, enjoy Stallone, but yeah.
Oh, I enjoy all those guys. Harrison Ford, freaking Schwarzenegger. He's going to be on a TV show coming up. Nick pointed that out.
Get tired of Schwarzenegger. That man has been my hero since I was a child.
He'll always be back.
Get to the chopper now.
You knew I was going to go for that. Anyway, guys, we have kept this as close to an hour as possible. We're doing pretty good. We're doing good. 3 movie reviews in barely an hour. That's not bad.
The first 7 minutes was
and a little bit of news.
Fucking around.
And a little bit of news. Holy crap. All right, we're doing good. Guys, so like I said, this is Movie Matters Monday. We're going to wrap it up here. Stay tuned for TV Talk. No, not Tuesdays. We're going to probably get this out around Wednesday and hopefully Gaming Bits on Fridays. So, guys, tying things up for the night. We've got our social medias. Ryan Kuhn does streaming on Twitch. I think he's still in limbo on schedule. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, I'll be returning Monday.
Oh, this coming Monday?
3 days a week, Monday.
So when this episode drops, that's my intention, is to get this episode out on Monday. You should be streaming that day at some point, right?
Yep, about 8 p.m.
All right, dude. We'll put the links down below. And guys, you can find all our wonderful stuff at one beautiful website called Nerdentialsmedia.com. That's right, friends. Nerdentialsmedia.com. But that's going to wrap it up for Movie Matters, guys. For myself, Nick, and Ryan, this has been your Nerdy Essentials. And as always, nerds, we'll see you on the other side. We almost got it.
Almost.